Another beautiful song for this month. And thank you, Gary Lynn Floyd. Yeah. Well, we're all used to the month of March imitating an animal, right? Sometimes it comes in like lamb, sometimes it comes in like lion. But it seemed to me last week as the winds blew and the snow deepened that February was doing a great imitation of coming in like a huge snow leopard. Powerful and beautiful at the same time. And then after the snowstorm, when the sun came out, it was so easy to see that all the while the weather fairies had been sprinkling diamonds on the snow. It was beautiful. Joseph Campbell said the goal of life is to make your heartbeat match the beat of the universe, to match your nature with nature. So this month, because Valentine's Day is in February, and which makes it the official month of love, we're going to be doing just that. Matching our nature with the nature of love that is powerful and beautiful at the same time. And we'll be discovering ways to allow our heartbeat to match the beat of a universe created by love itself. We'll be turning on our heart light and letting it shine so bright that the warmth of love coming from us, along with a little chocolate, will get us through even the coldest winter months. And then after that, nature will be all about baby chicks and bunnies and spring green everywhere. But why am I talking about this? Well, it leads us right into this moment. Because today is today. And what we have now is now. And this moment belongs to us to feel about it any way we choose to. Our free will, when we choose to direct it in any moment towards something that feels good, it becomes magical and transformative. Kahlil Gibran wrote, "The appearance of things changes according to the emotions. And thus we see magic and beauty in things, while the magic and beauty is in ourselves." We see the contents of our mind everywhere. I mean, we look out and we think that the world is outside of us, but really we're seeing it inside out. We could say that we're seeing the labels or the concepts that we hold in our mind out in the world so we can see them. It's been said that we don't see the world as it is, we see the world as we are. That's why 2022 is up to you. And it'll look just like you think it does. The good news is we don't have to create the whole year all at once. We get to create it every moment, experience by experience. If we don't like the way 2022 is going so far, we can change it now. The most important time. There's only one important time for all of us, and it's now. It's the only time we have to use our power to decide anything. The decisions of yesterday have already been decided, and tomorrow's decisions can't be made yet. But the decisions that we make now not only affect our experience of the moment, but they create what happens next. The Buddha said, what we are today comes from our thoughts of yesterday. And our present thoughts build our life of tomorrow. All experiences or mental states are preceded by mind and are produced by mind. Experiences are mental states. How we experience any moment is in our mind. If anyone ever says to you, it's all in your head, they're right. Our experiences are preceded by our thoughts and produced by our thoughts. No one else's, unless we agree with them. And again, the good news is that if what we're experiencing now isn't what we want to experience next, we can change our thinking and change what we're creating as our life. That's how powerful we are. Which brings us to the title of today's talk, Now What? We can say over and over again that our thoughts are creative. I do every Sunday. But how often as we focus on negative thoughts do we keep their productive power in mind? How often when we're disturbed about something do we consider our present thoughts are influencing what happens next? Our free will, our freedom to choose whatever we choose allows us to direct our life in any direction we choose. And there is no right and wrong to what we choose. It's just that some directions seem more fun than others. If a negative thought crosses our mind that doesn't feel good to think, we're free to hang out with it. We can offer it a meal and a place to stay, or we can just let it pass through. We're free to choose. All thoughts are available. We get to choose which ones hang out with us. If we truly believe that a present negative thought has the power to build our life tomorrow, if we truly believed that, wouldn't we at least consider a more positive thought to focus on? Ram Dass said the next message you need is always right where you are. It's good to know. But if we want to hear a positive next message right where we are, we've got to want to feel better right where we are. The answer we hear wherever we are when we ask the question, now what, depends on the thoughts we're choosing to focus on as we ask it. The vibration of those thoughts determines the frequency we're tuned into. It's just like being tuned into a certain frequency on the radio. We're not going to hear meditation music if we're tuned into heavy metal. We're not going to hear soothing music unless we're tuned into it. A message that is perfectly clear and beautifully appropriate for the moment can't come to our mind when it's filled with negative static. We've got to be willing to let go of our focus on hurt feelings. We've got to be willing to let go of our frustration. We've got to be willing to let go of our righteous anger. And we've got to be willing to let go of the drama, which is always so tempting to focus on. Then our mind is present in the present moment, not distracted by what has happened. And in the present moment, unlimited possibilities for what's next await our choosing. If we're truly clear that all we want to hear is the voice of loving resolution, no matter what the situation. Our desire for peace of mind creates the perfect atmosphere for a holy messenger to drop in. No matter how difficult, no matter how dramatic, a moment or a whole day, maybe. No matter what disturbing news we've heard on TV or from a family member or a friend or even a stranger, we get to decide how we will greet that news. We can meet whatever it is with a fearful default reaction of now what? And then we can add things just keep getting worse and worse. Or we can meet whatever it is with an intentional positive response of now what? What do I want to see next? How can I turn this around in my mind and see it differently so that what happens next is better? In Science of Mind, we read, the thing that we look with is the thing that we have been looking for. In other words, what we're looking for, we're looking with. So, if we're looking for our spirituality, we're looking for it with the consciousness or spirit that allows us to look. Which is to say, we're looking for our divine self with our divine self. Now, logically, what we're looking for, we're looking with, also applies to the attitude and expectation we're looking with that determines what we see. If we're looking at ourselves or someone else or some situation with a troubled mind, then we're looking for trouble. And that's exactly what we'll find. Ramana Maharshi said, instead of allowing the mind to spread out like the sail of a ship, being ruined by the strong winds of the objects of the senses, it is wisdom to dive deep and enter the heart to reach the state of stillness. If our mind is filled with bad news about the world, about our family, friends, bad news about anything, and we're feeling bad about that bad news, our mind is spread out like a sail in the world, and all that we catch are thoughts that make matters worse. We're unable to see beyond the surface of the things that we're focused on. And the messenger of good news, right where we are, is blown away by the strong winds of the objects of our senses. Now, it may seem to us, when there's something going on, that when we try to quiet our mind or we try to dive deep beneath the thoughts that so that we find some stillness, that our mind just gets noisier. And so we focus on the thoughts that, like a squeaky wheel, get our attention. And even though those thoughts don't feel good to think, we do it anyway. It takes desire joined with practice to learn to quiet our mind. And it's so much easier to practice if we don't wait until we're in the middle of a drama. Now, I mentioned before, and a lot of you know, that when I was learning to scuba dive, we learned how to handle emergency situations like running out of air underwater or swimming into turbulence and not being able to see where we are by practicing in a non-emergency environment like the swimming pool. We didn't need to panic, we just needed to learn. We can practice quieting our mind when it's quiet. Even 1 minute of meditation will allow wisdom to drop in. We can practice quieting our mind by walking in nature, or simply by looking out the window and looking at the sun glistening off the snow. It's good to practice when we don't feel the urgency to practice. And then, when bad news presents itself, we will have practiced and we'll know how to dive deep enough to reach a state of stillness where we can hear the voice of love answering the question, now what? There's no getting away from the creative power of our mind, but we can decide to be its master by learning to quiet it. And then the rest of the time by deciding to pay attention to what's going on in there, to pay attention to our thoughts in the present moment, in the moment that we're thinking them, so that we can choose what we want to experience in that moment and what we want to happen next. In the way of knowing, we read, there is only God, and you are that. God extends creation without ceasing. You will, therefore, always continue to exist as the one who creates experience. This is why there's only one question worth asking. What do you truly want? Which is another way of saying, now what? The only time we can experience our power is now. The only time we can learn something new or see something new or express a new feeling or emotion or grow or heal is in the moment we're in. There's no other time. There's not a magical moment somewhere down the line. There's just now and what we do with now. And tomorrow will be now when we get there. It's the only moment any of us ever gets. We don't get more than that. No matter how privileged anyone may seem, they get one moment at a time. When we're present in the present moment, we're ready to hear the next message that is right where we are. And when we're ready for it, it will lead us to a what's next that we won't want to miss. Namaste. All right. Okay. Well, this is the time of our service when we say thank you. Thank you to everyone here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your love and your support. Thank you for everyone who is watching for your love and support. And whether you're watching this live or you're watching it sometime during the week, thank you for watching. And then thank you all for sharing the message of love, because that's what we have, that's what we offer, and that's what you support by being present and through financially supporting us so we can be here each week and during the week and do what we do. So if you don't know how to support us financially, or you'd like a refresher, our treasurer, Jamie Phillips, is here to tell you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Jim, could you turn that down just a little bit? Thank you. Yeah. Okay.
Don't you shout at us.
I'm shouting. I'm shouting it from the rooftops. It's time to find out how you can support us. And if you are in the sanctuary, we're going to do an offertory in just a few minutes. But if you are live streaming or watching this online and would like to help, and we appreciate all of your financial contributions, you can do so by visiting our website, lecflint.com, and hitting the contribute button. If you're watching this on Facebook right now, you can go to our Facebook page. You're probably on it. It's facebook.com/Life Enrichment Center, and hit the donate button. You can send us a check to LEC, or Life Enrichment Center, 2512 South Dye Road, Flint, Michigan, 48532. And you can also visit PayPal and donate to lecflint2512@gmail.com. And yeah, that's about it for online. And I'd like to ask the offertory receiver to come forward.